really happy to be here and see so many faces that I love so much, some that I haven't seen in a long time, and a lot of new faces too. So thank you. I know some of you might be sore, sweaty, maybe a little zenned out. That's okay. Whatever you're feeling right now, go with it. Because we're probably going to leave here feeling kind of like I am. I'm going to infuse you with Tom's caffeine in a different way. Okay? Are you guys ready?
Yeah!
Great! I like the enthusiasm. That's awesome. So I want you to get lit up. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I always set an intention before a workshop. And this evening, there's being lit up. There's creating magic, love, connection, and action. Okay, because we are in a really sacred space here at Wanderlust Tremblant, and I want you to take the inspiration that you're getting from the workshops that you're taking, the yoga classes that you're taking, the people that you're meeting, and bring them into actionable steps into the world come Monday morning. Come 3 months from now, 6 months from now, all the way till next year because they're going to come back, right? Yeah. Right? Okay. So, because can any of you kind of foresee arriving like Monday morning, be totally drained out, having sore like forearms, and kind of forgetting all the beautiful things you've learned? Yeah, we can kind of see that happening, right? I know that's one of the reasons I'm a life coach, because if I didn't set myself specific goals, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to go move to Hawaii, and not that that would be a bad thing, but that'd be a great thing. It's just not necessarily fulfilling my life's purpose or mission doing that right now. What we're going to start with is creating a blank space. Because I want you to create a masterpiece with your life. Because you have one extraordinary life, or you can have one mediocre life. Who's down for extraordinary? Yeah. So that's what I want you to create this evening. And we're going to start from nothing. That's why you've got some blank pages in front of you. So in order to do that, in order to create a blank space, I want you to just get really honest with what's happening in your life right now. You know, I know you're probably on really high vibrations here at Wanderlust. We all are. There's a reason why you signed up for this workshop. There's something that you want to get. Maybe it's more inspired. Maybe it's clarity around some of the goals that are kind of floating around in your head. Perhaps you want that spark to get you to taking action. Maybe you're terrified about making change. I want you to get honest. What's happening in your life right now that's preventing you from creating from nothing? Are you telling yourself, well, I don't have enough money to do that goal, or like open my own yoga studio? I don't have enough time to book that trip. Or maybe I'm not, experienced enough to create my own workshop. Can any of you relate to these kind of excuses? Not enough time, not enough money, not enough experience? Yes? This is a good time to, yeah. If you're like, no, I'm like, what? First group that would ever respond, no, like, totally fine. I got enough money, I got enough time, I got enough experience to do whatever I want. So, maybe write down some of the things that are holding you back. Maybe it's ways of being, maybe it's certain beliefs. And also write down, what do you want to get out of this hour? So we've got like a power hour, already it's like a power 45 minutes. Maybe you write down a word that captures what you're looking for. Maybe there's a specific thing that you're working towards in your life. Maybe you want to expand your business. Maybe you want to start your own. So did everyone get honest about what they want to get out of this workshop and some of the things that are holding them back? Okay. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to take you into the future, into your life 5 years from now. And then we're going to trickle back to where you are right now. And we're even going to go further into the future. We're going to go into your 90s, or maybe into your hundreds. So I think we can, where we are at medically, we can probably all make it to 100. I like that. And then we're going to trickle back. And my goal is that you leave here inspired to take action on your top 3 goals that you're setting for yourself for the next 6 to 12 months. Okay? So we're going to go all the way to the future, because when you're clear about where you're going, it's going to inspire you to be present right now. Now, in yoga, it's all about being in the moment, being present, and I'm a yoga instructor as well. And one of the things that some students will tell me, like, why are you so future-oriented? You have to live in the moment. I'm like, well, because I'm so inspired by where I'm going in my future, that makes me super present right now. because I'm clear about the things I need to be doing, the things I need not to be doing, and I keep room for wanderlust, right? Room to explore, because I know my vision is limited, and I know there's something better out there, but I try to create room for it to be better. So picture yourself in your 90s. Maybe you're doing yoga in the morning on your back porch. Maybe you're taking a walk. Maybe you're dancing at your 100th birthday. And I want you to ask yourself, what do you want to be remembered for? When you're no longer here, what do you want people to say about you? What do you want people to have learned from you? What's going to be that message that you leave? What's that mark that you want to stamp on the world, on people's hearts, on people's minds, on people's lives? Walt Disney's mission in life is to make people happy. I think he did a pretty good job of that. And I'm pretty sure if Walt Disney was, a barista in a coffee shop, he would have done equally well. It would have been different. So don't focus on what it is that you're up to. Think about why you're going to do it. And the reason why I'm taking you there is because I faced my mortality and, our fragility as humans a couple of years ago. I had colorectal cancer at 25. And, that kind of shifted my life a little bit. And I'm sure all of you in this room have experienced something that was transformative in your life. Or maybe someone in your life also went through an illness or something of a certain level of challenge. And when that happened, I faced my biggest fear. I faced the fear of dying, of not being here, of not accomplishing some of the things that I wanted to do in my life. And I got present to that. Not necessarily in a very nice way. It's a very emotional time in my life. And then I made a choice. I could either choose to let the fear hold me and pull me down and make me feel weak, or I could kind of have a conversation with it and accept that I was terrified, that I was stepping into the unknown. I had no idea what was going to happen. Was I going to live 3 months from now? Was I going to, live till I'm 100? And having that kind of face-to-face with fear allowed us to kind of work together. Now, I've been hearing a lot about fearlessness, actually just the last couple of days. And I gotta say that it's not about being fearless, at least in my opinion. It's about taking fear hand in hand. Because I want you to get scared. Because when you're scared, that means you're alive. Because when you're not alive, you can't fear anymore. And so those things, those goals that you want to accomplish that you might be scared of, let that fear serve you. And have a conversation with it. Be like, how are we going to work together? And that was my plan. How are we going to do this? And I had to focus. I had to do what I had to do in that moment. And take the lessons. And obviously, I'm doing well. I'm here. I'm very healthy. And it was a blessing in my life. And I'm sure if you've had moments in your life that were very scary, well, you might have faced that. Okay, so it's not necessarily about being fearless, but taking the fear and doing it anyway. If you're going to jump out of a plane, has anyone ever jumped out of a plane, parachuted, or bungeed or something like that? It's kind of scary, right? It's like, whoa! But you jump anyway. I was doing a workshop last Friday, and actually Nessa was there. It was with a great group from the Laval community. And one of the things I was talking to them about was, this idea of wanting an extraordinary life or committing to one. And when you're committed to an extraordinary life, you get on the plane and you jump out of it. When you just want one, you might just think about doing it, but you don't. So picture yourself, at the edge of a cliff, and there's this beautiful oceanic water, and you have the choice of either just standing there and be like, whoa, that's scary, I don't know if I'm going to jump off, or you have the choice of backing up and running full force and just letting yourself dive into the open. Which option do you think is going to be more exhilarating? The second one, right? Yeah. So jump off that cliff in your life. You got to create it first. And yet you might fall flat on your face. It's a possibility. But it's going to be fun. I'd much rather fall flat than not fall at all. Do you guys agree? Good. Okay. So now we're going to trickle back to 5 years from now. And I want you to close your eyes. You can also keep your eyes closed if that feels more natural for you. The reason why I'm inviting you to close the eyes is for you to go inward. To tap into that inner wisdom. To start visualizing yourself 5 years from now. You know, if you feel connected to yourself 3 years from now or 6 years, don't get stuck on that direction of looking at your life 5 years from now. Just throwing that out there. But choose a period of time in your life, I'd say between the next 3 to 10 years, that you can see. And I want you to picture the things that you're excited about in your life at that moment. Maybe you're excited about your new kitchen. Maybe you're excited about a family vacation, or celebrating a milestone in your career. I know for me, I'm excited about celebrating motherhood, because that's something I see in my future. What are things that you're proud of 5 years from now? What are things that you might have surprised yourself with? Things that you might not have thought you would have done, but that you've done because you've committed to living an extraordinary life. And you decided to take fear by the hand and jump anyways. What can you give yourself more credit for? You know, if there's a party being thrown in your honor 5 years from now, what are we celebrating? Who's around you? And we're going to bring the senses even more into it. You know, what do you see? Maybe you're picturing yourself on a typical day. Maybe you're seeing, you know, fresh brewed coffee, or maybe a green juice, or maybe you're seeing your lover. Maybe you're seeing nature. Maybe, I don't know. What is it that you see? What is around you? What's the environment like? You know, are there smells that are awakening you or surrounding you? What do you hear? Or maybe you're surrounded by music. Or maybe the sounds of nature, or maybe crying baby, I don't know. What do you hear? Are there things that you're touching? No, maybe you've written your book. Are you touching the copy of your book? The one that you've been working so hard to write, publish, and share? Trying to bring all these things into this vision. And we're just going to take a moment in silence to connect a little deeper to that. You can bring your hands to your heart if that helps you. I like to connect my hands to my belly as well. These are very intuitive regions in our body. You just stay here connecting, you know, maybe filling in that vision a little bit more. And if the corners of your lips aren't turned up to the sky yet, I encourage you to do that. Because you should be stoked about what you're creating, what you're seeing. An extraordinary life is one where smiling comes naturally. And you can stay here for a little longer if you feel the need to. If you're ready to open your eyes, do so. And then take that blank canvas that's in front of you, one of those sheets, and draw it out. What did you see? Let those stick figures roll. Creating your masterpiece doesn't mean it has to be perfect. What is it that you see? What did you hear? Maybe there's words that you want to write down. You know, just let it come out of you in a way that feels good to you. I just don't want you to forget. And maybe what you didn't see is equally important. Or maybe you draw a big X on negativity and you want to write that down to be sure that you're getting that out of your life. exercise, you know, I love sharing it because I come from a bit of a perfectionist tendency. Anyone else a perfectionist in here? Every Lululemon employee should raise their hand up high. You know, doing this, I remember the first time I did this exercise, not much of an artist, and actually my mother's an artist and my dad's an artist, and I'm kind of the, as we say in French, plus cartésienne, like I'm more down to earth. And perfectionism often was a form of resistance in my life that prevented me from doing some of the things I really wanted to do. And doing this exercise made me see that it's not so, it doesn't have to be so serious. And just capturing the essence of what you want in your life is very important. You know, you might have a vision for your life, and because you're wanting it to be so perfect, you're ignoring some of the signs that are coming into your life, some opportunities that are coming into your life that represents the essence of what you saw. You know, maybe you're seeing yourself, you know, in a beach house in Hawaii by the ocean, surfing every morning, and someone offers you the opportunity to move to, I don't know, Mont-Tremblant, and spend the winters here, and give you the opportunity to ski every weekend. I don't know. Something that feels as liberating, connected to nature, and free as you would feel having that beach house by the ocean in Hawaii. But because you're so stuck on like, this is how it has to be, my life has to be perfect because I said it was going to be like that, it's preventing me from seeing how great that would feel to move to Mont-Tremblant, live by the mountains, and freeze your ass off in the winter. For anyone who does that, you know how good it feels to come off the hill and have that hot chocolate as your body kind of melts, right? Now I'm saying this, if we were doing the workshop in February, I'd be like, no, go to Hawaii. Right? So look at what you've drawn and just maybe write 1, 2, or 3 words that represents what's the essence. What does this represent? You know, someone might set the goal of running a half marathon, and they might do it because everyone's doing it. Someone else, it might mean that they've overcome injuries, that they persevere because they often quit. And it means so much more than actually running. Your goals mean so much more than just what they are. And I want you to get that. Because we often bring our goals down, our desires down, because we feel they're not big enough. Or we compare them to someone else's. What you want to do should be the most important thing. So catch yourself when you find yourself maybe preventing from sharing what it is that you really want because, you know, maybe someone in your life is going to say, oh, really? Like, you want to move in the country? Or you want to quit your corporate job? Has any of you ever compared the goals you set for yourself with anyone else's? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Right? Now, if you're committed to living an extraordinary life, yes. Are you going to waste time comparing yourself with someone else's, you know, criticism? We waste a lot of time doing that, right? So keep on thinking about some of the experiences that you want to have, and just looking at the next 5 years. And then in your next column, what do you want to learn? How do you want to develop yourself? How do you want to grow? You know, are there classes you want to take? Are there languages you want to speak? Or maybe just hear? You know, is there an instrument that you've put down that you want to pick up again? You know, maybe there's a teacher you want to seek out and learn from. You know, and I know a lot of you here are yogis. Maybe you want to go do a teacher training in Rishikesh or something like that. How do you want to learn? How do you want to develop yourself? You might be taking a cooking class. I mentioned pottery. Maybe you're taking a pottery class. Has anyone ever heard of the bitch and stitch clubs? I'd like to learn how to knit. And bitching once in a while is good. You know, I don't do it very often, but usually when I do it, it's around a little cocktail. So I figure over knitting might be more appropriate. That's something I'd like to learn. I'm just throwing that on my list now. And in your third column, as human beings, we are meant to give back. We are contributors. We are connectors. We are our community right here. How do you want to give back to your community? You know, when I brought you to that like later vision, your 90s, leaving your mark. How do you want to give that back? Is there something you want to teach? I know someone here wants to write a book. What book is this? What do you want to share? What do you want to speak about? And this is actually a really fun exercise, and we're not going to do it now, but you can take a note of it. If you're kind of stuck in what am I supposed to do with my life? Something I have my clients do regularly is I ask them, if you were to write a book, and you could only write one book in your lifetime, what would be the message? That's that's written a book. Should I write another one? What would be the chapters? What would be the themes? What would be the titles? What would be the messages? If you had 5, 10, 12 chapters, I don't know how many. I did this with one of my clients, and one of the beauties of what I do is that I do a lot of my coaching by Skype and in person as well. I have a client in Sydney, Australia, and she's a speech pathologist, and we did this exercise. She's really kind of fogged up about what she wanted to do. And suddenly she's like, oh my goodness, I think I'm going to need to do a TED Talk. And I'm like, this girl's shy, never really does group work, and we just did this exercise, and she's like, I think I need to write this book. So that might be something that you do, and if you're having the ideas now, by the way, please feel free to write them down, because don't count on your memory to serve you in the moment you want it to, because you might forget. So if you're having this hallelujah experience, write it down. How are you guys doing so far? Great? Good. Okay. How's your life feeling the next 5 years?
Exciting.
Amazing? Nice. Can I just get a sense of what are the things that you want to experience, learn, contribute? Or some things coming up for you? It can be just popcorn style. What else? Yes?
I am going to move with Wanderlust Tremblant for yoga retreat that we're planning for yoga and sacred medicine.
Are you creating that retreat?
Yeah, we are actively right now.
Amazing. Yes, retreat Peru with Vanessa from New Moon Yoga. You can find her on Facebook. I like doing these plugs, because again, we're a community, and we wouldn't be here if we wouldn't support each other. I wouldn't be here if I didn't have people that supported me. So, help each other out. What else? Maybe some of the guys. I want to hear what's the man energy going on. You're surrounded by a lot of women, so Chris, yeah.
I want to drive a motorcycle because
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty awesome. Do you have to wear a helmet in Nevada, or you can be free?
I would definitely wear
Good idea. Is there anything here that you've written down that you didn't expect yourself to write down? Maybe something that surprised you? More humble. How would that look? What would that look like?
I think it's about
About what?
entitlement.
Entitlement. Okay, cool. Yeah, if you got something like that, maybe ask yourself, how is this going to map? What is this going to look like in in the tangible, physical space? Like you're saying, you want to bring more humanity to hospitals, and what that's going to look like is by bringing inspirational photos in, people's rooms, just to give them some energy. So there might be, maybe one of your things is I want to experience, exhilaration or fitness. Is that going to look like? Is that going to look like you in a handstand, just maybe walking around your living room? So once you kind of get the experience and just the essence of something, then you can ask yourself, well, how is that going to happen? Now, I want you to look at these 3 columns, because you might have quite a few things on there. And as much as I'm about you doing everything that you want in your life, if you go out and start doing everything at once, you're going to burn out. You're going to feel pretty mediocre because, you're a human being, and doing everything at the same time doesn't always work so well. So I want you to put a star next to the top thing. If you could just do one thing on that sheet. Now some of you are like, oh, but I don't know. I really want to do that too. If you could do one thing, what would you start with? And you could use this exercise when you go to the restaurant the next time, you're like, oh, what am I going to have? If you could eat one thing on the menu, what would you eat? Just order that. Okay? Don't have food envy. Don't waste your time there. Just go back to that restaurant. Or ask your friend to give you a bite. So if there's one thing you could do, what would you start with? And maybe what's the second thing? And what's the one that scares you the most? Are you willing to do what it takes? And it's okay if you're not. But if you're not willing to do what it takes, can you please take that off of your paper? Take it out of your mind? Instead of beating yourself up every day, being like, oh. You living an extraordinary life means that you're going to crank up the volume of that voice and just freaking stand in what it is that you want. Because if you don't do it now, someone else is going to be like, hey, can you come help me do like what I really want to do? And you're going to be like, okay, sure. And then your dreams are like, oh, that's kind of lonely. It'd be really fun to hang out. So again, that's your choice. Do you want to listen? Are you willing to do what it takes? As you guys know, Wanderlust is awesome, right? Can we all acknowledge how great Wanderlust is?
'Cause you're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart. 'Cause you're a sky full of stars. 'Cause you light up the path.